In today's video I'm going to show you how I'm working on this gimbal. I'll show you the workflow I'm using to add images onto this rectangular prism, and that gives me an idea of how big the object is in real life in relation to the other parts that I'm modeling up that I haven't made yet. So there's a couple of ways to do this, and this is the nicer way that I've found. It maybe takes a little longer, but it's better. The benefits of this is I can see where the ports are here, and I get an idea of where cables need to come in and out, and if someone wants to push a button on the side or something like that, they can still get their finger in there. So that's sort of the idea behind why I'm showing this video. So the way I've done it on this one is to use decals. So here's all my decals, turn them on and off. Now as you can see, if you look in here, it's not really perfect. If you make the images exactly right how they need to be for the decals, then maybe this would work, but these are all close to the scale they need to be, and then I've stretched them out and rotated them on. So if you want to add a decal, just go into insert decal and choose your file. So I'll choose one of my images here, and then I'll select the surface, and yeah, then you've got your decal on there. So you can add this decal and you can see, so I can move it where I want it, and I can scale and rotate everything. So that's good. But yeah, as I said, it doesn't quite look right, but yeah, it's okay. And then the other thing that's a bit weird is when you move it with decals, you move the object around, the decals don't go with it. But then after you move, the decals come across. So yeah, it's that's okay. The other method to do this that I found that just seems to have a nicer finish is this material method. So you get to choose the material that goes on the face, and then you can add a photo image. So this is maybe a little bit more complicated, but I believe the result's quite nice. So if you had to present something quickly to someone, if you had a client and you wanted to quickly throw something together and say, look, I haven't modeled this yet, but that's what it'll look like, then I'll develop this out to a like a product. You can something for a website, etc. So we go to texture, is it appearance? Alright, so we're in appearance, and then so in this design I've got all these appearances here. So what you do is, to start off, you have nothing there to start with, so you want to drag something up, for example like this black gloss paint, and then doesn't matter what it is really, just add anything. And then in here, then you go to duplicate, so you'll have another one, so you can now use that to edit. And then we'll go to advanced. Now instead of there being a color, so I'll just make this a bit bigger so we can see, and there we go. Now color, you want to choose image. Now we can choose the image file. So obviously I've already got all my images here. That's another thing, you need to make sure you put it on faces, not body/components. So you just want to affect one face at a time for this example. So I'm interested to see what people think about this. Maybe they'll think I'm being a bit silly, but yeah, just from my experience, I think this is useful, this is valid, even if you just put it on one face, to know where different buttons are, and then you can get a rough idea of where you might want maybe some supports on the back, or wire routing, anything. There's all sorts of reasons why you'd want to know. So yeah, we'll grab that, chuck it on. As you can see, it's all wrong, right? So edit that. Now the scale's off, so if we bring the scale in, so you can see it's all the offsets are wrong and it's rotated wrong, so we can rotate it. Now I'll click on the image, we come up with this little texture editor, and now what you need to do is change your offsets. So okay, and then the other thing to note is these images need to be square to work properly, so it needs to be a 1:1 ratio. For most of these faces down the bottom here, by the way, if you put the image in the actual image that you're using in the bottom left corner of the file of the square, then from there it'll automatically align bottom left and then you just scale it out, and it's much easier. It's just the top one's the most tricky one. You need to rotate it in the right way and then offset it. Yeah, there you go. And something else that's interesting, actually, the manufacturer's dimensions, based on what I'm looking at here, they didn't include the actual rubber bit of the viewfinder, which is interesting. So, you know, something to consider. You know, if I needed to really be super exact with this, and I needed to make sure I had clearance, doing this method will reveal those little details. Yeah, so I think this is a totally valid thing to do. I mean, yeah, as I said, you wouldn't have to do it for every single face, but now for this face here, I can see where all my inputs and outputs are and whether they'll have clearance or not, and then from there I can model up a plug if I want to see if that's going to collide with anything. And yeah, so I can make sure this gimbal is the right size for the largest camera in this series. So yeah, the reason I chose this camera was because it's the largest one in this sort of range. It's premium, large. It's a full frame mirrorless camera. So yeah, I've actually just bought a new camera today. I'll be doing an unboxing of that in future videos. We'll be able to use that in the robotic camera system to make a new gimbal. So there you go. Alright, hopefully that helps, and catch you in the next video. Cheers, bye.